health reasons to forgive. There might just be too many to count.
Uh-huh.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together with the Decker team.
We've created for you over 423 episodes of the Inside Track where we share not only all the stuff about real estate, but all the stuff about making your house home, about thriving in your space and having harmony in life exponential. So you get exactly what you need when you need it from the comfort of your home, office, or on the go.
Yeah. So really, health can improve when you forgive.
Yeah.
It really can.
Mm-hmm. So in this episode, we're going to talk about the root of the root of forgiveness is what I want to say, but really what we're going to chat about is the root of bitterness and how it can lead to a really unhealthy body. Disease.
Dis-ease.
Yeah.
It's very important to cut that in two. Dis-ease.
Right. Because when you're
in ease, you typically are healthier.
Absolutely. The calmer I am, the healthier I am.
And you talked about a root of forgiveness. That's kind of a weird, and I know it was kind of like a faux pas, like it was not really meant to be said. It was meant to be the root of bitterness.
Yeah.
But what if forgiveness took root in your life and you forgave everyone who ever hurt you? And the reality is, people don't do things to you typically. Typically, they do things for themselves because they're selfish. And then that may, in turn, hurt you.
Mm-hmm. It certainly has happened to me. Maybe it's happened to you. And sometimes I've been the one that's hurt someone because I have done what felt good to me and it didn't feel good to someone else. Right? So it's not like we're saying you're the evil one. Sometimes I'm the one that messes up and causes pain for someone else. And yet, whether it be I or you, if we hang on to it, our body, even if we kind of like convince ourselves it's not a problem, like logically in our head, in our thinking, our body is keeping score. Your body is keeping score. Like, you ever thought about the impact of your unforgiveness on your actual physical body?
Oh, pick me. I can remember a time.
I can too.
It was a colleague and we had a disagreement in business and they wrote the most venomous, cursing email to me that I've never been spoken to that way in my life. And I harbored it and it created stress in me. It created, my blood pressure was high and I kept thinking it. And then I would reread it and I go, why would I reread it? That's ridiculous. And then I felt like, oh, I want to get vengeance or I want to send it to our governing body or
because it was
something.
out of line.
Oh, it's totally out of line. But the point is, how do I take that? I can take it in and let it grow and water it.
You did.
Yes, I did for a while. And then I decided, you know what? I'm not going to keep it in my drawer anymore just in case I wanted to send it in and write a complaint. I just shredded it. And that's a great analogy. Eh? Like shred it out of my mind. Start praying. I started praying for that person because of the hurt that they must have in their life to be able to speak that way to somebody.
Right. And yet what had happened to you before you shredded it, and I never read it. I said, I don't want to see it. I wanted
you to read it.
I know. And I said, no, thank you. Like, it isn't going to add value to my life or yours if I am on the same page with you around that.
Right.
And yet what happened to you physically? This is the part about dis-ease, because everything else was going great in our life. Our marriage was good. Our kids were thriving. Our grandkids were doing great. Like, our business was doing super. We had super friendships. Like, it's not as though our whole life was falling apart. In fact, it was in amazing harmony. There was this one person that was angry at you and let you know it via an email, not even face to face.
No.
And what happened to your being?
I don't know. What happened to my being?
Do you remember your blood pressure?
Yeah, I said that already.
Going through the roof to the point that you got on medication? It's not a laughing matter. Like, I don't know why it's so funny.
Because everything's funny in life when you look back at it and how you overreacted to something.
And yet it actually took your body out of the game.
Yeah.
You were red in the face.
I'm always red in the face. Come
More
on.
red. And angry.
People think I'm blushing.
Yeah, not blushing. Just a ready complexion. And yet you didn't necessarily see the cost. I think the point of this conversation is
not till retrospectively. You don't see the cost when you don't forgive. And forgiving required me to understand maybe the emotional trauma he's had or is in the middle of, and also to pray for him. As soon as I started to pray for him, all the anger, all the hurt washed away.
Which is the
supernaturally.
Right. Have you ever experienced that where you're just so bound up in something that it's actually taking your body out of the game, and then come to the realization that maybe it's not worth it, and you let it go, and then you can't believe that everything works better? That you're, for some I've heard they get weight gain, weight loss, or some pretty debilitating diseases.
Yeah, because I could eat my way when I'm hurt. I could eat out of hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, the way I think of it, it's kind of like drinking poison and expecting the other person to get poisoned. Because unforgiveness is simply that. It's poison to your body. It is...
Yeah, unforgiveness only hurts yourself.
Only hurts you. Doesn't hurt anybody else.
Yeah. And I remember you had a picture on your wall for a decade.
I did.
It was a hand-drawn picture.
I know, it was a beautiful picture.
I'll call it a facsimile of what it should have been.
Right, but it was a plate. It was a plate of food. And I had my meat on the plate and I had my vegetables on the plate. Yeah, I still eat some meat. It was fish. And then I had some sweet potato fries on my plate, because that's like a favorite thing for me. Some peas, and it was a full plate of food. There was a little bit of space off to one side that didn't have anything on it. And so what was there was just a tiny pin drop of poison sitting on my wall that I stared at for a decade. I still have it. It hasn't gone anywhere. And what that reminded me was that even a little bit of unforgiveness, I wouldn't eat the food on that plate if there was even a speck of poison on it. So why on earth am I allowing my body and my being to consume the poison of unforgiveness?
So there's a real peace, a shalom, that happens when your heart is healed through forgiveness. It actually brings joy back into your life.
And let your body do the healing that it was meant to do, because your body's actually the most amazing healer ever, as long as you're not hanging on to stuff. It helps a lot.
So Lewis B. Smedes said, "To forgive is to set a prisoner free and to discover that the prisoner was you."
Thanks for growing alongside us, and thanks for being willing to have courageous conversations in life and in real estate.
Moving forward with the Decker team. Moving forward together.